morning, everybody. This is Michelle with Creative Operation and Country Craft Creations, and today I'm going to share with you how I made these 3 notebooks that I created for my Retro Man Desk Caddy, which was a design team project for Country Craft Creations using the Retro Min papers. And these are exclusive to Country Craft Creations. So if you go there, pick these up because you will not find them anywhere else. And the papers were just absolutely adorable. I've done 3 projects with that paper collection, excuse me, can't talk. And they turned out really, really awesome. So I'll put the links below so you can go back and look at them. But today what I wanted to do was show you just kind of how I did these. I had a request from one of our fellow scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations, Antonia, and she was asking if I had a tutorial for these, and I actually didn't do one. I just kind of showed some things that you could put in the caddy as a gift for Father's Day. So today I thought what I'd do is I'd share with you how I made these, but then I also have a cover that I can make for this, and I'll show you how to do that. And it also includes a pen holder, and I'll show you 2 different ways to make this cover, this particular way and then one with a pen holder. And then I'll show you just a super quick post-it note cover and give you the dimensions for that. So let's get started with the tutorial. I think what we'll do is we'll go smaller to largest. So we'll go ahead and start with our post-it note pad. This is really simple, doesn't have a pen holder with it. But really super simple, just an easy project to do that you can use scraps for. Doesn't take much to do. So I'm going to put that aside here, and let's go ahead and grab our pieces of paper that we need. So for the cardstock here, you don't need much, just a scrap, and this is 6 7/8 by 3 1/2. And you're going to stick this in your scoreboard. And of course I got everything in my way. And what did I do with, there it is. Okay, found my scoring tool. Okay, so we're going to put it in the scoreboard with a 6 7/8 at the top, and you're going to score at 3 1/4 and at 3 5/8. That will give you a 3/8 inch gusset here. The post-it pads are 3/8 inch wide, so that's why I did it that way. And I got the white ones. I was going to get the traditional yellow ones, but I found these white ones. I didn't even know they existed, so there you go. So basically, this is really, really super simple. You just fold and burnish your spine piece here. And I didn't cut paper for the spine, but I did cut paper for the outside and the inside, and I'll do the spine later. But I just took a strip of paper and I cut it into 3 pieces. So I have 3 pieces that are, always do that too, 3 1/8 wide by 3 3/8 tall, and then just cover the outside. And then the spine you can cover with pattern paper, and you'll just need a strip that's only 1/4 inch wide. And if you do that, then that's, you're done. If you want to do a ribbon, you could wrap a ribbon around the spine and then tie a pretty little bow, which I might do for this one because this is a cooking scrap of paper that I just had in my stash. I am using artisan cardstock for this from Country Craft Creations, and in this particular color is Craft, and I really like it. It's a very heavyweight paper, and think it looks great with this project. So you just cover the outside, and then on the inside, all you need to do is cover the inside left front. So I'm just going to put my pattern paper down, and then what I'm going to do is just adhere my post-it note to the inside on the other side. And then the nice thing about this is it's refillable. So I'm just going to go ahead and put glue on the back of that. When you get done, you just have to just add another pad. And then I'm just going to put it right to the edge of the spine and center it, and then glue it down. And then there you have it. So that was pretty simple to do. So that's just the post-it note pad without, a pen holder. Very nice. So there's that one. Now, when we look at this notebook is really cute. So I found these 3x5 little mini legal pads at Office Depot and bought a bunch of them up. They come in a pack of, like, I want to say there were 6 or so in the pack. No, yeah, six in the pack. And so I just created a small little, you know, notebook with pockets, and it is refillable. I put pockets on both sides so that you could just stick the back of the chipboard in the pocket, and then there you have the notebook. So this one does not have a pen holder. I'm going to make that one, and I'm also going to make the one with the pen holder. So let's get started with that. So the first one will be just like this without the pen holder, and I got some scraps of paper here. And you're going to need a piece of cardstock again, and we're going to need a piece that is 7 3/4 wide by 8.5 tall. All right, and then you're going to put it in your scoreboard. You're going to put it at the 7 3/4 at the top, and you're going to score at 1/2, at 3 3/4, at 4, and at 7 1/4. And then you're going to turn it, and then you're going to score at 5 1/4. Now you'll notice I have some pencil marks here. What we're going to do is create the pockets. So you have your 1/2 inch scores on both sides. So we'll just fold those up so you don't have those in the way. And what we're going to do is take our pencil, wherever I put that, and your ruler, and the 1/4 inch gusset that's right here, you're going to go to that point where it meets the book, and then to the point down below. And of course, because I bent it, now it's all wonky, so let's put it out. But here we go. So you're going to put that there, and to the corner, not the corner of the 1/2 inch score, the corner of right after that 1/2 inch score, and you're going to draw a line. And that's what we're going to do to cut out our pockets. So you're just going to simply cut your pocket out. So we're going to cut up the score, both sides. And you see that I'm not cutting in the 1/2 inch score. We're going to use that all the way up, and then snip that off. Now, sometimes it's easier if you bend the pockets, and then you can kind of do it flush with the pocket, and you're just going to snip that off and get rid of it. Okay, so you're left with a piece that looks like this. We're going to miter some corners, and you're going to miter this one as well. We're going to use this piece to kind of just reinforce the sides, since it's there. All right, so we'll miter this and get rid of our little bits, and you'll have a piece that looks like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab our glue, and we're going to, on the inside, we'll go ahead and glue that down, and then that'll just reinforce the sides. So you're going to glue the top 1/2 inch down. And these are really, really, really simple to make. And it's really nice because it's a good scrap buster too. Make great stocking stuffers for Christmas coming up, just saying. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and we'll fold and burnish all the rest of our score lines. And then, so these are already pretty much burnished, and then we'll fold this up, make sure that it lines up to the side. And then do that. Now, I do have a little bit of pencil line showing, so get rid of that. Okay, so here's the inside, here's your outside. So I've cut my papers, and the papers that you will need measure 3 1/8 by 5 1/8, and I'm just going to simply put those down. Now, it's only a 1/4 inch gusset in this notebook, so I did not do any pattern paper for that, because that would be really fiddly doing a 1/8 inch wide piece of paper. So you could wrap again, a small piece of ribbon around that, and tie it in a bow if you wanted to. I just left mine plain. So put this paper down. Now this pattern paper is from my stash. I did not get that at Country Craft Creations, but all the artisan cardstock that I'm using, I did get from Country Craft Creations, and obviously, you know, this paper here is the exclusive Retro Min paper. And I gotta say, all of the exclusive papers that Country Craft Creations is putting out is amazing. You really, really, really need to check it out. It is so pretty. Okay, so now we have our inside. So we're just going to glue those tabs down to form our pocket. Like so. We're going to put pattern paper on the inside that will cover the tabs and then help it so oh, I didn't miter that one. Well, that's okay. It's okay. It's going to be covered with pattern paper anyway, so nobody's going to know. All right. There we go. All right. So then our pattern paper, this is just going to slip inside. Same dimensions as the paper on the outside. So I'm just going to slip it in there and make sure that it's where I want it. Put our paper down. Super, super cute ideas. And again, these are refillable, which is nice. And, you know, nice to fit in your pocket. I don't know about you. I mean, oh, well, I should have put it in the pocket first. But I just did it the hard way because I'm talking and trying to get done because I've got a busy day today. Well, heck. There we go. I know I can do it. There we go. Okay. So they're really nice for little gifts, and I have my iPhone and I use it for like a ton of things, but I'm still a list maker. The pen to paper to me is, there's nothing that will ever beat it. And I have always been one of these people that loves notes, loves lists. I remember things better if I write it down. If I just put it in my phone, my brain does not do it. Now, I should have talked about this. So this piece of paper was a scrap that was 3 inches by 3 inches. And all I did was cut the square and then cut it at the diagonal. And then that will cover the pockets. All right. And then you have your little notebook. Then all I did after that was I covered, and you don't even really need to do that if you don't want to, but I had a little scrap of paper left over and I just wrapped it over the top of this notebook. I just measured it and wrapped it over and glued it down so it just covered up, you know, the logo of the store. And I'll show you how to do that on the bigger notebook, how I did that. But anyways, isn't that cute? So you have this cute little notebook. You can decorate the outside if you want. On this one, I used a fussy cut piece from the collection. And this piece actually was pieced together with papers because I didn't have enough of this card paper. So I just put a piece of paper and kind of patched it together, and it just turned out really super cute. So we have this notebook cover now. So now let's work on doing the notebook cover that has a pen holder. So you're going to need a different sized piece of paper. So you're going to need a piece of paper that is 8 5/8 inches by 8.5. Okay, so 8 5/8 at the top, and we're going to score at 1/2, at 3 3/4, 4 1/8, 4 1/2, and at 8 1/8. Okay, so I'll go over those measurements with you again. You're going to score with the 8 5/8 at the top. You're going to score at 1/2, 3 3/4, 4 1/8, 4 1/2, 8 1/8. Then you're going to turn it so that the 8.5 is at the top, and you're going to score at 5.25. Then after we do that, we're going to do some pencil marks here. So we're going to measure in, so the pocket, the bottom piece here is 3.25. So what you're going to do, it's 3.25 on one side, and it's bigger to make the measurement for the pen holder on the other side. So you're going to measure the 3.75, no big deal, because you're just going to grab your pencil, not your cutting piece at this point. You're going to put it the score, and you're going to do the diagonal just like we did for that one. But on this side here, it's going to be wider. So we're going to measure 3.75 of an inch in from the 1/2 inch line on this side, and then you're going to put a pencil mark at 3.75. Okay, so it will not go all the way to the score line. It will not, and that's okay. We don't want it to. All right, so then you're going to take your scissors, and we're going to cut up that score, or up that pencil line. Both sides. Now remember that this side here will go to the score line, but this side here is wider. It will not go to the score line. And then we're going to fold the sides in, and then we're going to cut that off again. Whoops, again. I have not had enough tea today. I can tell already. Okay. And then just cut that off flush. Okay. So now you should have a piece that will look like this. So once you cut your paper and you mitered all your corners, this is the kind of piece that you should have. Okay, so you have your cover is the less wide piece. So the wider piece is your back cover. You want to make sure you fold your tabs in to the correct side, and go ahead and glue. I've folded and burnished everything, and then just make sure that you have it oriented. So the 3.25 inch side is your front cover, your 3 5/8 inch side is your back cover, and we're folding everything to the inside. All right, like that. And then what you're going to do is making sure that you have your wider piece in the back. What we're going to do is we're going to play with these folds here. We're going to fold it kind of W shape. Okay, so it will look something like that. And then what we're going to do is pop that pen loop out like so. So you have a shape like this. All right, again, the wider part in the back. And then you're going to open it back up, and we're going to glue these tabs, not the pen loop tab, but these tabs to the inside back of your notebook, like so. And then what that's going to do is that's going to give you the cover and the back, and then it's going to give you the pen loop, and your pen will just slide right in there. Okay, depending on the kind of pen that you get, obviously. It might go down a little bit further. So again, check the pen that you have. The mini, I ordered these mini pens off of Amazon, and they're by Papermate. They're by Papermate Inkjoy Minis, and they're really, really super cute. Now the lid is too big. It just goes right to the edge of that, but I got it centered pretty good. So you have to look at the pens that you actually are using, because some are smaller, some are a little bit longer. But anyway, so you have a shape like this. Then you can go ahead and open it up, and we're going to create the pockets like we did before, and then just put your pattern paper on, and you're going to have a notebook. So while I do that, I will time lapse this so that you will see it sped up, and I will be done in just a second. Okay, so it's covered with pattern paper. Now do note that the paper for the front is 3 1/8 by 5 1/8, but the paper for the back will be 3 1/2 by 5 1/8 because it is a little bit wider to make up for that pen loop. And then the inside's 3 1/8 by 5 1/8 for the back, and then the 3 inches that you just diagonal cut and then create the cover for the pockets. And then the notebooks are 3 by 5 from my local office store, and they just slip into the pocket, and then you have a cute little notebook with a cute little pen holder, and that would be a super cute little gift. And then you can obviously decorate this any way you want. So we have that done, and there's your 2 different notebook covers for a 3 by 5 notebook. Now let's do a larger notebook here real quick, and then we'll be done with that. Now, 2 things that I wanted to show you. So in the video that I did, I just covered a 3 by 5 notepad with pattern paper, and then I used some Tim Holtz hardware to make it pretty. So all you have to do for that is just measure the width of your notepad. This is 5 by 8, and then measure the spine of it. This is 1/4. Measure this piece here. So this piece measured, I did it, let's see, how did I do that? I did it a little bit longer, so because I wanted to make sure it got covered up. So I cut a piece of paper that was 2 inches by just a hair over 5 inches, and then I scored it at 7/8 and then 1 1/8. Let me double check that just to make sure I didn't steer you wrong, and that is correct. So it's 2 by just over 5 inches, and I scored it at 7/8 and 1 1/8. And then to cover the notebook, I grabbed a piece of score tape to start, and I turned it over on the opposite side, and I put score tape down the spine, that 1/4 inch spine that we created. Okay, and I have already folded and burnished, so we have that. And then I took my pad and I lined it up at that score, made sure that everything was covered, and then I just pushed that to the top. And that, what that did was that just kind of gave me a starting point for my gluing. And then I opened it up and then glued it to the top of this, and that's simply all I did to cover it. So depending on the notebook or the notepad that you get, I should say, please, you know, do your own measurements. But I did it a little bit wider than the cover of the top of the notepad, just so I could make sure that it was covered. And I did it a little bit, you know, longer so that I could make sure that it was covered. And then at this point you could decorate, you could put flowers, you could add ribbons, you could do for like for my husband, I did some hardware that looked kind of cute. So that's all I did to do that. So then let's make the notebook a notebook that can go with it. And this one's kind of fun too. Now this one is done basically the same way as the last notebook that we did. It's just on a bigger scale, little bit different. It will not have reinforced sides because the paper is not wide enough to do that. So we're going to just go with a straight cut this time, but here's how you do this. So first thing you're going to do is get a 12, you're going to have a piece of paper that's 11 5/8 by 12. And I'm going to start by just putting it in with the 12 at the top and score at 8 1/4. And again, this is for a 5 by 8 notebook. And then I'm going to put it with the 11 5/8 at the top, and I'm going to score at 5 5/8, just down to that score mark at 8 1/4. And that way, because there's a big chunk of cardstock here, I can save that and use it for other things, because I'm a waste not, want not person. So I'm trying to, you know, kind of conserve my stuff. So again, 11 5/8 at the top, score at 5 5/8 just to that score line, score at 6 to that score line, and score at 6 3/8 to that score line. Okay, we've already made our score at 8 1/4. And then again, I'm going to take my ruler. Now this pocket here will be 3 3/4. So I'm going to measure, because I want it square, because then it's easier to cover with the pattern paper. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to measure at 3 3/4 and draw a dot on both sides. So 3 3/4 in, draw a dot, and then, you know, do your line. Or you can do a straight edge, you know, and cut it however you want to do it. I just did this for the tutorial purposes. I'm going to cut this out just like we did on the other one. Okay, and then I'm going to fold my pockets up. These will be glued down. Now, the reason why I did tabs on the smaller ones, because the pockets are really super small. And I wanted to make sure I kind of utilize as much pocket as I could. These are a little bit bigger because the base is going to be 5 1/8 by 8 1/8, so the pockets will be a little bit bigger. So gluing them is not going to be that big of a deal, and you'll still have some big pockets. So I'm going to cut this out, and now I have a piece that I don't have score lines in, and I can save that for a rainy day. All right, so then we have our notebook here, and again, one side will be wider, so one side will be 5 5/8, and the front will be 5 1/4. So just make sure you got the orientation right, and you're folding to the correct sides. Okay, so you want the less wide on the left, wider on the right, because that's the back. And then we're going to go ahead and fold in the middle so we can create our pen loop. Okay, so for this one, I'm using just a plain old Bic stick pen, and I kind of looked at it so that it would kind of go, you know, roundabout roughly in the middle once it's in the pen loop. So measuring down from that middle score, I cut at 2 1/2 and at 3. So we're going to just do that. I drew a pencil line at 2 1/2 and 3 inches down from the top, and I'm going to just make those slits. Erase my pencil lines, and then we're going to go ahead and finish the folding and the burnishing. Okay, and then that will go like that to make the kind of W shape, and then we'll fold over one more time. Like so. And then we'll make sure we pop out our pen loop to the other side. Okay, so we have it like so, and then we just have to do some gluing. So the first thing we're going to do is glue that inner spine piece down to the back. Okay, so we'll just fold that down. Make sure that's glued down. Okay, and then since this is a little longer, I'm going to go ahead and open it up and just kind of burnish it on the other side too, just to make sure we got a good stick. All right, so now you should have a shape that will look like that, and you'll have your pen loop on the side. All right, then we're going to cover the inside with pattern paper, because these are going to be glued down, so we have to cover the inside with pattern papers first. So I have my pieces cut already, and these pieces here for this particular size notebook will be 5 1/8 by 8 1/8. And I'm just going to glue these down. And again, these are from my stash, but the cardstock is artisan cardstock from Country Craft Creations. This one is in brown, and I love artisan cardstock. I have to tell you that ever since I've discovered it, which has been a couple years now, I have really loved it, and use it exclusively. I've been using all the other stuff that I had before as kind of practice paper for when I'm making designs and stuff to kind of check and make sure that they're going to work. When I make my real projects, I use Artisan because nothing, absolutely nothing beats it. It is amazing. And there's so many new colors coming out. Some greens, some blues, some pearlescent colors. Just awesome what's going on. So if you haven't been to Country Craft Creations online store at countrycraftcreations.com, you really need to go. It's really awesome. Okay, so then next thing we're going to do is we're just going to put a thin line of glue just right on the edge of this triangle pocket here. Okay, and then just glue that up. And you just want a thin line, okay? We don't, oops, and I totally messed up my corner there. Be careful of that. You just want a thin line. You don't want to close your pocket off. You just want a nice thin line of glue. And then I'm using my bone folder just to make sure that I get a good stick, okay? And this is Art Glitter Glue. Again, this is from Country Craft Creations, and it is amazing. And it dries fast, but it does give you a little time to kind of fiddle before it dries. But once it dries, it's good to go, and it does go real fast. All right, so we have our pockets. Now, our pocket measured, I do that every single time with my ruler. Okay, so 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So if you cut a square of pattern paper that is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2, and then cut it at the diagonal, you're going to get the exact pieces you need for covering your pockets. All right, so we'll do that. And this would be cute. In the office store that I go to, they have, you know, regular 5x8 notebooks, and then they also, or notebooks, notepads, and then they also have notepads that are 5x8 that are grocery lists. So that would be super cute to put in, you know, a recipe themed or a cooking themed gift basket or a gift for someone. Super, super fun. And again, refillable, because you can just totally put, you know, the notebook in, and then once you're done using it, take it out and replace it with another one. Okay, so then the notebook should fit just perfectly up against the spine here of the pen holder piece. So we're good to go with that. So let's take that out, turn it over, and then you have your two pieces. Now remember that the back paper is going to have to be a little bit wider, so it's 5 1/2 by 8 1/8, and this one is 5 1/8 by 8 1/8. Okay, so it will have, the back of the pad is a little bit wider on this one because of the pen loop. And I hope you guys are noticing I'm not having glue trouble today. I tore my glue bottle apart and I cleaned everything out, and I have already replaced the tip, and because the other bottle was so old, I got a new bottle. So I'm not today, knock on wood, having any trouble with my glue. So, and I shouldn't say that before I'm done, because, you know, it'll probably start happening because I jinxed it. I hope not. Okay, so last piece. Now I did not put pattern paper in the gussets of the pen holders. I just didn't think that that was necessary, and with the pen loop it was a little difficult, so I didn't do that. All right, so there we go. So now you have your notebook. The notebook goes in like so, and then this particular collection of pattern paper for recipes had a bunch of recipe cards. Now if you go to Country Craft Creations, she has a What's Cooking line that is absolutely flippin' adorable, and this would be really super cute with that paper. And then she has recipe cards, so this would be a super cute gift. So then you stick your pen in here just like that, and there you go. You can decorate it any way you want. We have our notebook here, and I wish I had some more of the 3x5 notebooks. I need to go back because I used them all. But anyways, this is the tutorial on how I did all of those things. Where did that other one go? The post-it note holder, the little 3x5 notebook holder, and how I covered the notepad, but then a bonus notepad holder with pockets. So I hope this was a good tutorial for you. And if you have any questions, let me know. Go to Country Craft Creations at countrycraftcreations.com. Get retro men. Get retro men. You need retro men. If you're going to make some of these in cooking or recipe themes, please get that. Get the What's Cooking line exclusive at Country Craft Creations, and just have fun with it. Get your artisan cardstock, your art glitter glue, and score tape even. She has score tape. So get all your supplies there, and I will see you again soon with another tutorial. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.